Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Dota 2 Asia Championships America Qualifier Grand Finals. Man, that's a mouthful. But what you need to know is this. This is a best of 5 with Cloud9 having a 1-0 advantage as your winner bracket champions. They only need to win 2 games. Fire are going to have to put 3 up on them. It's not going to be easy. 1 loss and they are on match point the rest of the way. This is game 1, and with all that said, of course, I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I am joined here by Merlini himself. Ben, it's time. Fire, they're underdogs. Fluff just tweeted out, we may be the underdogs, but that's exactly where I like to be. They seem pretty relaxed, chatty, anxious to get the game underway in the lobby, and, well, the last time they faced Cloud9 was just yesterday. They got 2-0'd. It was pretty one-sided overall. Can they do it?
It was ugly.
Yeah.
It was real ugly yesterday. And Fire, we've seen pretty much a lot of the same strategy, I'd say. I guess the only one that's been a little bit different is the Drow Ranger, but they've been relying a lot on Juggernaut and Ush in general to, and Fog, actually. Whereas Cloud9, they seem very well-rounded. They actually play as 5, and all 5 heroes are very integral to their win.
And all of them are playmakers, to be honest. Like, you look at Misery, even when LGDN was struggling mightily, he would often just go around killing everyone early on and then would later fall off. We've seen Big Daddy yesterday solo killed an Ember Spirit as a Chen. Very impressive from him. Eternal Envy, one of the most active carry players around the map. Definitely very different from what we normally see out of Ush, where he likes to more sit back and farm. And with that said, the draft is going pretty quickly. So let's get into specifics here. It was a first overall pick Enchantress. So they're going to go with a jungler once again on Cloud9. Now they're bringing in a Darkseer to the mix. And we're going to see the Tiny Wisp, maybe call it a trump card that Fire's trying to play right now.
A lot of older strategies in play here. Firstly, the first pick Enchantress. That's something that we used to see out of Fnatic and old Na'Vi. And then Ember Spirit and Darkseer is a combo that EG loved to run. Maybe even a little less than a year ago. And on the side of Fire, another popular strategy, the EO and Tiny and the Bat Rider. So all these heroes were popular back in some other patch, but in this particular newer age, you don't see them very often. None of these, except Bat Rider. I
haven't seen Tiny Wisp since since Wisp started getting banned versus Secret. Like after that, it just kind of disappeared.
You see it occasionally with Fire. Ush plays it a decent amount.
I have not been casting that much NA Dota, so that's definitely a fair point. But with this Tiny Wisp, they're still going up against some fearsome lockdown here. Cloud9 now going for the Darkseer. Now, what are your thoughts on the Darkseer pick? Do you think he's viable? I think his win rate in the last patch was like 38% or something abysmal. Is he a revitalized hero?
I think you can't just throw him into any sort of strategy. Firstly, it's hard to make use of the Ion Shell, and Ember Spirit is actually one of the best heroes, I'd say, to combo with Ion Shell. Flame Guard plus Ion Shell is absolutely ridiculous. The damage is just out of control, and if you don't have enough Magic Burst, which Earthshaker might struggle with if he doesn't get a Blink Dagger, or Tiny if he uses combo, they actually don't have that much magic damage to break the shield, and even if you do, you still have the Ion Shell, and on top of that, it's nice with Treant Protector too. That's pretty much the easiest vacuum wall combo that you can get if they're rooted. And it's pretty important to kite Tiny, especially if he gets a BKB. They still have ways to kite him. I like him a decent amount here. He's also okay versus the Bat Rider. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do for lanes though. Fire, we probably will see EO Tiny in the mid lane.
They're going to snag their Queen of Pain now. So the draft complete for Fire. A good mix of gank, team fight, pick-off potential, mobility around the map. This is a pretty well-rounded draft from Fire overall.
This is completely different than any draft that we've seen them in the DAC qualifiers.
They have definitely been saving something for this Cloud9 match. But at the same time, it's very different. We've only seen this new Cloud9 roster for 4 games, but I feel like they've pulled up something different every single game. And even from the first pick, it's just a totally new look. So it's one of those things, like, it's kind of hard for their team to really... The preparation only matters so much. It seems like more they're going with the strategy that they want to run rather than just reacting to what the other team's been doing, because it's a totally new approach from both.
Yeah, I don't really think except the first bans. I think the first bans matter a lot. Aside from that, it's not too big of a deal. Queen of Pain, pretty good pick here. Will destroy Enchantress. Pretty good versus Ember too, I'd say. And Cloud9, I mean, both lineups have a lineup that can put out pressure a lot prior to 10 minutes. Fire usually, I guess they usually aim for like the 8 to 15 minute, but Cloud9 with the Enchantress early as well as like a Darkseer plus Tree combo, they can easily start diving very early.
Yeah, this is going to be a super Ember. Just to follow up on what you were saying, with now he's got the Living Armor and Ion Shells and Surge backing him up.
They just need a Magnus to complete it.
Yeah. Superman Ember at that point. Is that the way they want to go, though? Because generally with this Ember, it's something you'd expect Fada to be playing mid. And so if that's the case, then we're still looking at our Eternal Envy hero.
Yeah.
What's the missing link here? We've seen him play a decent amount of Void lately. I know he's been practicing some hard carries like Anti-Mage. That's banned out currently.
I don't know, to be honest. None of the typical carries jump out to me right now as even being like half decent. A lot of the melee carries struggle versus Tiny on top of struggle versus Earthshaker. So it looks like they will go with a ranged one in the Weaver.
Yeah, generally Weaver considered by a lot of the top players to be one of the better carries against a Wisp as well, just because he's so mobile, difficult to gank, and also good at just sticking on that Wisp and bringing it down quickly.
He's also good versus Batrider.
Yes.
He pairs very well in that one-on-one matchup.
This is going to be a very mobile game. You've got Relocate from the Wisp Tiny, Queen of Pain with the Blink, Batrider who always builds for mobility, Enchantress who will be moving around quite a bit early on, Tree where you never really know where he is, and Darkseer, Weaver, Ember, all, it goes without saying, very mobile heroes. So
don't forget about Enchantress, that hop, skip, and a jump, 335 base. She's super fast. She doesn't need boots.
I'll take the ability to just literally teleport around the map over that, but...
I think a key point is going to be shutting down the EU and the Earthshaker. I actually think Cloud9 has a lineup that can do that very, very early, and Enchantress can offensive jungle and interrupt the stacking from Fire. So I don't think we'll be seeing the 8-minute fogged blink like we have been in a couple of the prior games. And
they have felt pretty reliant on it. Now, with this draft, maybe that'll change the equation, but when fogged has not gotten that fast blink, they just haven't had good results in that, like, 8 to 20 minute mark phase.
There's a lot of hate from the non-C9 teams in the DAC qualifiers because Cloud9, they aren't very American. Or
they have 4 European players, and then you've got Eternal Envy, who's Canadian. So
is this America qualifiers or
it's
North
for the
American?
Americas. So
Americas. Okay.
I believe they were invited when they had their old roster. Cloud9 is technically an American company, so. Yeah, you know,
dubious.
It's very dubious, but it is what it is. That's a political discussion for another day. But we'll go through our lineups now as we get underway. Again, it's a best of 5, guys, and Cloud9 has that 1-0 advantage as your winner bracket champions.
First off, look at these double sentries. They do not want IX Mike to...
he's actually gotten dewarded a decent amount. He got dewarded.
They dewarded double this time. There's like almost no way he can get a ward out there that quickly.
Yeah, he's been putting the ward like right here quite a lot. So I think Cloud9 probably took a quick look at the replays, but yeah, dropping the double just to really make sure.
I think that's a viable strat for C9. Just try and feed off IX Mike because he has been a little weak in some of the games throughout the qualifiers. The past couple days he's been playing pretty solidly.
The good news, I guess, is he's a Batrider, a hero that can go to the jungle more easily than, say, like a Centaur or something.
Yeah, but they need Wisp to...
But the Wisp Tiny want to farm the stacks, and to some extent it's something Quap would like to grab a few of her own as well.
Even Earthshaker. I've seen Earthshaker stacking an Echo for their Blink Dagger.
All right, before we forget, lest we're remiss in our duties, let's run through the lineups. We've got IX Mike playing your Batrider. Dual laning mid will be Ush, rising carry player star in the American scene, known mostly for his harder carries on the Tiny. Fluff and stuff, the wily veteran Wisp, and that will leave TC on the safe lane Quap, duking it out with Bone 7, and then roaming towards top will be Fogged on that Earthshaker. In the off lane is Bone 7 on a forgotten, pointy-headed relic of a bygone age. It's the Darkseer for him. Mid lane, Fada stepped into that mid role a while ago, and he's been owning for Cloud9 ever since, playing the Ember. Big Daddy, new addition to the team, Jungler Extraordinaire on the Enchantress, that puts Misery onto the Treant Protector. Not as generally as aggressive a playmaker as what we're used to seeing him on, but Tree is one of those heroes that can roam early if you want, and that leaves Eternal Envy playing the Weaver.
I remember him playing an astounding Tree on his stint for Alliance. So
yeah, that's true actually.
he does play a pretty mean tree. So it looks like Big Daddy was forced to go most of the support items, only a Tango in his inventory, but he will have a smoke coming, and we're looking for that early smoke to gank. I don't know, probably not TC since he's a co-op. Probably
Fluff trying to bait a bit here, and Fada may actually get caught. Oh, he's close, but now Fogged is going to show himself. Walks down that ramp and into vision, so no real opportunity there as it turns on the end. Only a level 2 Tiny. Not too much kill potential.
And with Big Daddy being a heavy Wisp player, he probably knows how to control this lane pretty well too. He's just simply spamming the Tiny and not taking any HP off the EO, so they won't get that double regen. And this is actually very important for them to be able to control this lane.
The body blocks come out. They've got a Satyr Tormentor here with an Ion Shell going to work on Fogged. He'll be forced to deploy the Fissure, but unfortunately it just keeps on going. He misses the Hadouken though. Can he run him down anyway with the Ion Shell? It's going to be close to the tether, barely keeping him alive. Instead, it's actually your Tiny who ends up falling, and now they may lose more. Fluff gets clubbed. It's going to be 3 dead if Fog gets scouted out, and he will. Misery's there. Fog, what a train wreck of a way to open this game for Fire. The first kill, that Tiny going down as well. Oh my goodness.
If you had any doubts about Misery's tree,
well, the double damage rune tree, just so devastating. Almost 200 damage a hit at level 3.
That was pretty cool to watch. You're like, oh, it's just a harmless Satyr. He's just gonna spam some
and then it starts
Hadokens,
just
right?
burning you.
And then the surge.
That was scary. Yeah, the Tiny got caught out in a little bit farther out in the river, it looked like. And the other thing is that Eternal Envy has really been bullying IX Mike. He had to salve up earlier. He is getting some levels at least out of this, but he's not had an easy time. And EE now, with the Magic Stick and Aquila complete, he'll just be looking to constantly spam him out of lane.
Fire doesn't actually win their lanes very often, and I think they're really good at their early mid-game play, but not their early laning phase. And I think C9...
I feel like the one player who has been winning his lane a decent amount is TC.
Yes.
But it's kind of hard to win this lane that convincingly.
But aside from that, I mean, I think they're sort of a comeback team, in that they... Oh, Fada, he has his shield. He'll be fine.
A little avalanche there. Yeah, not the easiest hero to get the combo kills on. Up against the Ember, he's going to level up Flame Guard, and it'll block most of the combo, even when it's leveled up.
They're going to need a really fat Tiny to win this game. And as it stands right now, he's not having that great of a start, and they actually don't have that many stacks. It looks like it's just one big stack.
Yeah.
But
and that, in theory, may need to take some of those stacks, which is where they could really struggle. But they are going to find Bone 7. Get the Fissure off. Long-range Tether comes in. Quad blinking forward. He heads to the north, but Fire will get on the board with the Fluff and Stuff Fog double rotation, killing off the Darkseer and getting a little momentum going their way.
Yep, well played by TC. Another notch under his belt.
Yeah, TC and IX Mike, I both feel like are just playing much more comfortably on Fire than they were on, like, say, the old Liquid. They just all seem to be in sync together. Uh-oh. Ash taking quite a bit of harassment here. Doesn't have his...
Or a smoke from Big Daddy Misery.
Wisp is going to arrive here, but can they actually take this fight
They
together?
have double trolls, and they have...
and a Boots tree.
But they won't have Flame Guard, so that's dubious.
They're going to try for it. Fluff tethers, but it's kind of a short range. But now the secondary net comes out. Avalanche is there, but the creep gets tossed up. Not ideal. And in the end, they'll all just retreat out, so they do hold the line.
That Invis rune.
Avoid death.
Very timely.
Eternal Envy wanting to make a play here on IX Mike, getting super aggressive. And at the same time, Bone 7 just leaves you experience, so... EE, just the classic hyper-aggressive, diving the tower, always prioritizing zoning the enemy off-laner out, and it's got to be painful for IX Mike to lane against him. Still, though, he's eking out a decent amount as far as the living goes in this bottom lane. Has 11 CS, more importantly, perhaps hits level 5 at 5.5 minutes, so all things considered, he's doing pretty well.
Bone 7 getting wrapped around by Fogged again.
Going forward, and immediately there's a surge out, but Fogg's there to stop him. Still, I don't know if they can get this kill. They're going to be forced back in the end. Just a little bit too much harass going TC's way from the Ion Shell creep. As we'll have a skirmish for the top rune. Ush turns around. He's going to end up getting in range for a Remnant. Nope, they may go for Fluff. Will they get anyone? They get a bounty rune. Fluff now with the tether, though, all the way back to the right. Fada, no points yet. And Slight, is he really going to chase all the way up here? It looks like he wants to commit even heavier to this kill. And which way is he going to go? Still searching. heads even farther north, doing a bit of scouting. They want to find out what's been here for the Batrider and the Tiny, and I guess it turns out to be a blessing in disguise that they haven't been stacking more, because it just gets immediately stolen by C9. They want to contest this, though. TC, the chain's hitting the creeps. Lucky boy. Otherwise, he would have gone down there. But able to blink out instead, and now they converge. This could be an opportunity. Fog, looking for something. They get the fissure off. It's on Fada, but that's really a quap bolt even used. He's still kept alive, and now surges away to freedom. They all retreat together, leaving the creeps in front to try and turn this. And now Fada lurches back in. He gets off the chains. The stomp follow-up. Really nice chain stun. And C9 take over the enemy woods, force 4 heroes to rotate to counter their move, and steal their stacks, get a TC kill to boot.
Cloud9's teamwork has been very impressive. They move together and they're accomplishing objectives always together. And Fire, even with 4 heroes there, they couldn't repel the 3. And that's a very aggressive stance up into their jungle, ganking their stacks. And Fire, they escape with pretty much nothing, just a death on TC. And C9, they're doing a very good job of making sure that they aren't getting greed out of their lineup. We see Fogged nowhere close to his Blink Dagger. Wisp, not too many items too. And
they're not done yet. They're going to jump in on Ush again here. Get the chains off. Going for the extra kill as the Wisp is chased by Fada, but this tether does keep them alive. Fogged with the nice fissure, covering their retreat. At the same time, bottom lane, Eternal Envy is going to jump in on IX Mike. Gets off the swarm. He'll chase it. Doesn't look like he'll quite get the kill, but again, under the gun Mike is in the soft lane. And EE just getting that quiet, calm free farm. Now heading for the bottom rune, and might get a fluff kill here as well. Tether out, and still chasing. Still chasing. That's a little bit too far.
They're making Fluff work really hard for each and every one of these runes. If he even gets any.
They're just so aggressive in general. This new Cloud9 style of play that we've seen the past 2 days.
Fire's doing a really good job of responding, though. No one's playing really greedily. They aren't like off-stacking when people are getting tower dove. So
they are, but Fluff looks to be in trouble now. Tethers to a catapult and heads to the north. Fada out of mana again. He's done a remarkable job of staying alive. TC also under the gun. C9 everywhere they move, just pressure, pressure, pressure. Constantly, but Ush is going to get a kill. Brings down Fada mid. Huge takedown there, bringing the enemy solo mid to earth. That is some desperately needed gold, especially with the lack of stacking, the CS not being amazing for him. Very important kill. Fada is closing in on his blink. 1,000 gold to go.
Fada was playing pretty greedily there. He could have easily sent a Remnant TV back home and used that free fountain trip.
Yeah.
Not respecting the mana.
Gonna jump in again. Fada played chest out Dota, as it were. But with the Wisp here, he'll be okay. So now IX Mike being pursued in the jungle. Jesus. All these little skirmishes around the map. Mike with the lasso TP just to save his own hide. EE gonna time lapse out, and well, he's not gonna be using that lasso for the next 90 seconds anyway. So good heads up play there just to get himself out safely.
It's also an early medallion rush from Weaver, so that's
Roshan maybe.
I think it's just for fighting, honestly.
It's really good against the Wisp. That hero is just so squishy to right clicks.
Tiny also has 1 armor.
They're gonna move towards the Roche pit. Dropping a sentry ward down in the pit. He wants to walk out and not let them know that there's sentries in the area, it looks like. It will avalanche Eternal Envy. Ush deciding which way he wants to go. He's going to head up the ramp, and the pursuit is on. Imps crashing in. Long-range tether comes through. Fluff to the rescue. Again, able to bail him out against the onslaught of aggression. They're barely giving up kills.
What a sick fissure block. Mike is going to destroy them in this fight.
He doesn't have lasso is the only unfortunate thing.
I mean, 2 of them are blocked off. EE also doesn't have his time lapse. This is a really bad fight for them.
Also, by the way, Misery did go for his...
Oh, you don't see the block?
Signature Midas. Yeah, I don't have the fissure, but I know it's like roughly in this area. And I guess, are we having some server issues here?
I'm not sure. It looks like it. 355 ping.
Uh-oh, that's not good. And that's from our American players, I believe. The servers have not been great.
This early game, I actually think, favors Fire. Even though they're behind in kills, Tiny hasn't died as much as he could have.
Yeah.
And Wisp is almost level 6. Queen of Pain doing pretty well. 0 and 1 is okay, I think, considering how much pressure. Earthshaker has gotten away with only 1 death too, and they have like better AoE. They also have better mid to late game.
And they haven't crumbled under the pressure either. Whereas I feel like we have seen games like that for Fire where they just have a bad start and it's just there's no recovery from there.
I actually expected them to crumble under the pressure.
There's been like 15 moments this game, like 10 to 15 moments where Cloud9 has like been diving a tower, threatening to go for kills, smoke ganking, contesting runes, chasing heroes around, and they've only given up just a handful. Like, gold-wise, they are down 3k, experience down 2k. Some of that in the Midas tree, but, I mean, to go back to your point, Cloud9 should be ahead as this game moves along. If they're dead even with a Tiny Wisp, Batrider, Earthshaker backing that up, and a Quap, then it's not an easy late game for them by any means.
The Midas tree will carry.
I have not seen a Midas tree, I don't think. It's been a while. Well, with Misery, I guess I probably have at some point, but...
I don't know what he's going to go for. Probably a Blink, I would say, to set up for Darkseer. Okay, yeah, Mike is
prepping so hard.
He should clean up this fight. I would be surprised if they don't get 2 kills here.
Fissure did come through. Misery's trapped out, but it's Fog too is the first one in trouble. Ends up going down. Mike will make his way in, but...
Wow, no one's there? Oh, I didn't actually see Fada there. But that was such a nice block.
Yeah, I didn't actually.
I think they could have went in with Ush.
Yeah, double damage in Fada as well.
That's scary.
They want to play it safe, it looks like. Still, TC's getting the lane to himself top. The Batrider Blink is coming. And that will probably be the big item that they look to find some pickoffs with here.
He's had to blow so much money on TBs, though. I think he's TB'd back home like 3 times,
I've seen him walk back a few times, too. You know, it's just EE prioritizing zoning out the enemy offlaner so heavily. Like, first thing he does when he comes in the lane, not go for CS, throw the swarm on you, drop the medallion, and then go for the quick kill. Sakuchi, through one more auto attack, can't quite finish the job.
He actually missed the first Sakuchi on him, too. That would have been a kill.
But the medallion, if you slow down the Bat's economy like 3-4 minutes, and you're constantly just able to keep him out of lane, then this item pays for itself in economic damage very quickly. And without it, I don't think he's quite as threatening here to the Bat. Just throwing out the medallion to help push a tiny bit faster.
It's pretty nice.
Little thing.
Although...
Well, this is a sad Queen of Pain. Slight ends the job. We'll throw down the wall as well. And Cloud9 now, just moving in as a pack into this dire jungle, looking to secure control. But Fire responding with a counter push mid. Still, this is where things can quickly fall apart for Fire. You give up a kill or 2 against this lineup, you're going to lose towers.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
At the same time, too, Enchantress, after taking down the T1s, she has to make sure not to become a liability with her 606 HP pool.
So jump in mid from Fada with Eternal Envy joining in, but they're just going to relocate themselves out and actually head towards the top side of the map where TC and Fog combine, taking down Big Daddy. Tower did end up going his way, so he gets the last hit, and now they're going to wait to ambush the relocating Wisp as Fluff returns. They bring in Fog, has no mana for a Fissure though, but it gives him the tether way out, perhaps. They still chase. Fissure finally got the mana for it, and these two just working so well together to limit the damage.
Fluff has been playing amazingly on the Wisp too. Like always, honestly, flirting with danger.
I feel like he could have died like 8 times this game.
Yeah.
The way the Cloud9 have been playing.
And he's also saved Tiny from a couple of deaths.
Yeah. Even gets him involved in that fight top. Just a little extra experience and gold for Ush, perhaps. And at the same time, though, Mike buys his blink, but that'll be the end of him, bottom lane.
He just tanked a lot of tower. All he needed to do was go 100 range more left, and he wouldn't have died to the tower.
At least for Mike, he buys his blink.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And with that, the relocate, perhaps they'll be able to get some things done. Sleight of Fist chains come out from Fada, just locking this Earthshaker down in place. But they're going to back out. Send Eternal Envy towards the bottom side of the map. Fada gets fissured, but they don't really have the best catch right now. They need that Bat Blink. And with the blink comes the first smoke, so where does Ix Mike look to go now? That's the big question that Fire have to answer.
They really need Bat not only for the lasso, but also for the Firefly to burn through the living armor. Usually they just use living armor after some small instances like avalanche and EO wisp balls, and after that they don't really have anything to break it quickly.
Oh, chains. Almost from Fada. Just a bit off the mark.
Smoke into an opponent's jungle, Mike and Fog. There is no echo.
Hello, Big Daddy. I've got a present for you, says IX Mike. They'll bring in Fog, but the Centaur stops them when they're trying to follow this up. Now the Fissure, it ends up being a better one, though. It gets 3 heroes. Big Daddy down for the count. As that Earthshaker with an Enchant Totem manages to finish him off. Will Fluff get out in time, tethering himself onto Ush? Will retreat. This leaves Fog with little to back him up. Enchant Totem's there, but he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. So an Enchantress for an Earthshaker with potential for more. As Eternal Envy continues to press onward up the ramp.
That stop by Enchant. What in the world?
It almost ended up being okay, though, because he gets the 3-hero Fissure there instead of maybe just 1 or 2 heroes. But it's still very good combo breaker by Big Daddy. Try to make a play here top. TC, unfortunately for him, under Radiant Vision right now. And they're looking to go on Bone 7. They jump in, nuke him a bit. They need the follow-up that comes from the Tiny. He deploys his wall, but he gets Sonic Waved and dunked. I guess expecting his teammates to get there a bit sooner.
TC's actually out of mana.
Uh-oh. They can't just seem to get a freebie. Well, he'll blink into the trees now. The Swarm's already been used. They don't have vision. At the same time, Fada joins this, and he may actually end up getting Avatos into submission. He spirits the other way. The heals keep him alive. Chains through. He doesn't want to back out. Seeing some heroes drop low, he has no choice and will end up retreating.
Flame Guard saving lives.
This Ember is very difficult to deal with.
I thought Bone was going to run left, too. He also had 10 stick charges. I thought he was going to run left, trying to kite the Tiny, and then bait him into his team.
That's what it looked like, too. They had the ward there and all, and I guess he just he didn't expect them to jump him.
Feed off Bone 7. He's so close to his mech.
And once he gets that mech, that's their big item they're waiting for. They have the medallion, drums picked up on the Ember, all the basics. As Bone 7 surges, he gets lassoed. It's the worst time for him. Ava, toss, and down. Again, they get the kill. The Ags for Ush. They're closing in on it. And it's going to be a decently timed Ags, considering the amount of pressure that he's been under.
I'm very impressed with Fire this game. They've been playing so much better than they were in the series versus Complexity.
It's almost like someone lit a fire under their asses or something.
Jesus.
I had to do it. So sorry.
Misery, Invised in. They do not have any detection.
He has overgrowth, but do they want to go on him? The net's here. Following it up with an impetus, he just gets off with solitary toss. Relocate out from Fluff, though. Brings him back to safety, and at the same time, TC and Mike will retreat. They're trying to cut their losses. A huge leap forward from Fada. But they don't connect on anyone, so it'll be the Wisp that sacrifices herself. Maybe not. They bring Ike's Mike back in. They think they can turn this. They are not right about that. Well, free TP for Mike. I guess that's what it amounts to in the end. And it will allow him to slow down the push, but this tier 1 bottom is slated to fall.
Queen of Pain still pretty late Orchid, considering she's a safe lane farmer. Only treads Oblivion and 1/4 sap, so we're probably looking 20+ minute Orchid, 21 maybe, unless she gets a couple of kills now. Tiny closing in on that Scepter. Looks like that's coming in 800 gold, but overall, Fire's farm has been stymied, but so has C9's. They actually aren't terribly far ahead in terms of net worth. They are 3 towers up and only 3,200 net worth ahead.
They're going to go for a quick smoke around, and moving their way up into the dire side of the map, Eternal Envy will apply pressure here on TC. And perhaps he's assuming this hero's backing E up because he's playing so aggressively, but they're not backing E up. They are heading top. Trying to catch Fire off guard. I think ideally looking for this Tiny Wisp, and they're going to find the Wisp. The pinks come out. The timing's almost perfect here for Cloud9. In fact, the Tiny loops around back towards them. They may just get 2 for the price of 1. Ush now spotted out, caught by the chains, and it's up to the Wisp relocate, which is already being channeled. Gets him out just at the last second. Fluff again with the big saves, but the deaths are starting to pile up a bit here. And he will go down again when he returns.
Oh, or can he tether to Mike?
Can he tether to Mike? Maybe. No. Too much damage. These saves, though. They're hanging on, Ben, but it just feels like it's just going to take one bad fight, and then all of a sudden, Cloud9 just come take over their jungle. Tiny's delayed in his farm. They grab the Roche, and they look for that next big objective.
Trinidad sees Mike, but they don't have relocate on their own. All their other heroes are pretty far away. Ember doesn't really have that many items either, just phase drums at this point. Maybe Battle Fury soon.
They're looking to blow up Eternal Envy here, bottom lane.
That's a tough place to stun
for
him
level
from.
2 ulti, but they need this Avatos to be like perfectly chained up with it. This is a difficult kill. And he's not making it any easier by scurrying around behind the tower.
Misery certainly isn't either with the living armor.
The cores are just incredibly difficult to bring down for Cloud9. They are taking over the Dire jungle, and this is limiting the farm of fire pretty badly. Ix might getting a little bit of farm off the top lane, but currently, Ancient's not being stacked, Tiny not really snowballing. Ag's just now picked up close to 20 minutes. Here's a lasso, onto Bone 7, caught out, Avalanche toss coming through, but he gets off the mech, ends up tossing the Bat Rider, just not the right target. Still, it's good enough. And they get a kill. Keep on finding Bone 7, though.
Yeah, Cloud9 has their work cut out for them this game, and I think Bone 7 needs a blink just so he doesn't... actually, he's been trying to split push a lot, but he can't really do it versus a Bat Rider because they'll just proceed like they have been.
Again, the jump in. And again, Fog's just sitting there, prepared to bail out TC.
Eternal Envy...
This is a lot of bailouts.
Looking for a kill, potentially.
If he finds the Wisp, he can just shred her a new one, but... Though he continues to mosey around, just not finding the openings. Maybe it's fogged. Remnant tossed out, a threatening reminder. And Fog will dunk. He already used his fissure. And that one rimmed out. Not much he can do. Quick, clean kill for Eternal Envy. And on the back of that, no, it's probably your tier 2 going down mid with the DD rune. They'll keep the pressure up here, but they don't want to sack bottom, which is the trade that Fire looks for. They push him with Dutch. He may get the tier 1, but they're not giving it up. They show the Bone 7 darks here, and that's enough to keep them X. So it looks like Cloud9 gets a free tier 2 mid. That lasso catches out Eternal Envy. Can they get in range for this overgrowth? Not quite, but then there's no follow at all. He's like, what you doing? Meanwhile, bottom lane, Bone 7 trapped out. Tiny clubs him from distance, getting the tower in the process. Well, lasso blown. Maybe a time where Cloud9 look towards Roshan. Not yet, though. They're keeping some very aggressive wards up as well.
And the DS pick has not paid off for them. I guess I mean, in hindsight, it probably would have been better for them to pick a safer one like Timber or, I don't know, Centaur, someone who can actually get away from the Wisp relocate ganks. But Bone 7 has been playing like he has a blink.
Yeah, and he just keeps on getting caught out. And it's going to be harder for him now, because Quap, at long last, TC has their Orchid. BKB, nowhere in sight if that's what Bone 7 wants to build, so... That silence can really disrupt him in the upcoming engagements. And Mike will start to try and steal some farm here in the enemy woods. Firefly's in, he's found some delicious stacks, and looks to take those tasty treats away from Cloud9. This frees up his team to farm elsewhere, and doing this kind of economic damage is really important, considering that the rest of their team needs their own woods very badly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I gotta say, Mike's played really solid in the offlanes.
I think TC... I mean, Yules is, I think, slightly better than BKB this game. He's only going to die if he gets Overgrowth or Searing Chained. And Overgrowth, if he does it while he's BKB'd, he's probably still going to die, whereas he can just Yules out of either of those, and they don't actually have that much to stop that combo.
I think, yeah, every time he's either died or been close to dying, it's been just a chains jump in from Fada. Just shows that Ember's one of the best at catching that hero out. Mike with the lasso TP. Will he burn down in time? Nope. Close though. Ember showing who the true Fire Lord is. Bat Rider just unable to compete. Fada nearly has a Battle Fury. 23 minutes in. He's kept his farm in the neighborhood, but our tiny Mr. Tony start to pull ahead a little bit. He's finally your leader in net worth for Fire.
Yeah, now he has Max Craggy as well as building AC, so this medallion minus armor build from Weaver probably isn't going to pay off when it comes to killing the Tiny.
How nervous do you start to feel if you're Cloud9? Like, are you...
It's about that time where, like, okay, we need to start getting some kills, start getting Roshan, start killing Tiny, start killing Queen of Pain before they get BKBs.
I guess the one piece of good news is Fluff is very poor on a Wisp. Only has a Belt of Giant Strength and a Magic Stick at this point. He's just not been able to find much farm, so... Even if the Tiny gets big, it may just be a solo Tiny for most of the game.
There's a gem on IX Mike.
Fogged. And Usher right near Misery, but oh boy, he turned for 1 second, and Ush unable to do anything. Fluff gets caught out. It'll be Ush next. There's no defensive relocate, but he'll go for a TP out. Remnants come in. The chains are there. Oh, costly death. Cloud9 finding another big one.
Pretty important kill, slowing down Tiny. He did manage to buy his AC recipe right before, but with near max untouchable, make that a max untouchable on Big Daddy. They could proceed in a Roshan, but it's very, very dangerous versus an Earthshaker and a Bat Rider. Earthshaker has been off the map for some time. They don't actually know how close he is to Blink. It looks like he's only about 900 gold away. And C9, very good about controlling the runes. There's always a DD on either Ember or Weaver this game.
They're going to look to contest this Roshan, though. The whole team, the whole gang's back except for Tiny. Rosh is not that low. It's at a quarter HP now. And they're bringing in the reinforcements, but it's Fogged who gets spotted out here. He fissures defensively. And at the same time, they continue the Rosh Blinken. The Aegis snatched by IX Mike. TC commits for this as well. He goes down in a jiffy. IX Mike now trying to retreat out Aegis as quickly as it's stolen. Well, it's lost, but he comes back for round 2 with Fado rejoining the fight, working his way onto Fluff and Fog. They need their Tiny here. He's only now going to be able to arrive, but the damage is done. 3 dead. Aegis pop. Tiny looking to get involved. Can they actually get more kills? Mike surging in, close to getting Big Daddy here. He blinks forward, burning him down in the Firefly. Can he finish the job? That untouchable can't even try to auto-tech him. Now the turnaround comes, and still Tiny lumbering into the fight. Just can't get in range. Looks like Mike's going to walk away. Misery going to chase him out a bit. Can he get this kill? Casual napalm coming down. They actually have a sentry ward mid that Misery just walked by.
He wants to kill that chicken.
Uh-oh, Big Daddy. Ava off the mark, though. He just worms his way through the trees. Gets Choss back up, Chuck back down. Flamebreaker is there. One more auto attack. A big swing. At long last, they get a kill. My, oh my, what a team fight.
Great steal by Bat Rider right there.
And that's not the fight recap we were looking for. Seemed like a pretty even-ish fight overall. No buybacks. Aegis was stolen. Cloud9 did get the Roche gold, but...
Imagine if they didn't have the DD.
They lost their cores as well.
Radiant's middle tower
That would have been so bad of a fight for them had they not had that DD.
Yeah. Also, if the Tiny had just been able to get there a bit sooner. You know what? He's so close to the AC as well here, but just needs that plate now. That'll be a big boon versus the Ember as well as the Weaver, as you pointed out. And I guess the question for Cloud9 now is, after that not cleanly taking the Aegis, do they feel like they can end the game sooner? Do they have to back off and play it more for late game, even though that's not ideal against the Tiny Wisp?
I mean, they can get big on Ember.
Yeah. Weaver Ember, pretty good late. Darkseer can scale, but he's just so poor. Bone 7, 6k net worth at 27 minutes.
Ain't no universe, Darkseer.
Well, where's the Midas at? He used to be all about that Midas Darkseer.
I think Midas Mech Blink would have been far better for him this game, judging by how the early game went. They were putting a lot of pressure. It's not that it didn't pay off, it just didn't go as they expected. I think they expected to be up 10, 15 kills, 15 minutes into the game. That didn't happen.
The lag continues, apparently. And so too do the 8s and the mates. Sure. I'm sure Mike would like that. US West perhaps not in the cards.
Well, they should be American players, able to play on American servers.
I think that's more than reasonable. It's almost starting to feel like this is Fire's game. If they just have like one good fight. TC's about to complete BKB. He's not going to be nearly as easy to catch. Tiny has the completed AC at long last. He gets a lot tankier. It's almost to the point where you if Cloud9 don't get something done soon, they may have to just significantly outplay Fire to take it.
There's still the potential for Weaver to carry too, although it is difficult versus a lot of the stun lock that they have. Earthshaker doesn't matter if you have Lincolns or not. Quap, she has Orchid, and Batrider too can also just force staff pop into a lasso, and they also have a gem too. So this is a pretty difficult Weaver game.
And he also just didn't go for that like greedier build. He went for the medallion earlier, so his farm isn't out of control by any stretch. Farming aggressively is a little bit tricky for him against the Bat Earthshaker duo. We've certainly seen EE just carry games as Weaver getting 6-slotted, but that hasn't really been the game plan for them this time around. Mike is going to go in after Eternal Envy. He broke the Lincoln Sphere. They took the Wisp way in. That was almost just gifting them a kill. Fluff caught out. Gosh, this could be very costly as Fada chases it, gets the kill with the slice, but the turn might be there. Oh, one more auto attack can't quite finish the job. Fada gonna end up surviving, and now it's Ush. It's a train wreck in the bottom lane. They both get overgrowth. Tony probably going down here, slighted and finished off. They at least managed to save Mike. What a disastrous gank. They could have just said, you know what, the relocate's not in the right spot. We can't get on top of him, just back, but he tosses the Wisp in, and it all falls apart from there.
Yeah, he would had like what 1 second away from TPing.
Yeah. Well, the question now is do Cloud9 take another objective?
They should definitely take this T2. But Earthshaker actually has a blink. He is invis. This could be the potential for a big play, especially with no gem on site for
no detection of any kind. Fog with the level 2 Echo Slam as well. Oh, baby. He wants to slam it in. Can he find the big Echo? It's not really the perfect position, unfortunately. Gets up a good fissure. They bring that one. They're going to finish off Fada. That will defend the tower, and then some. Didn't get that 5-man Wombo Echo that he was hoping for, but
still pretty darn good.
Still good, and they hold the tower.
Enchantress also had her Mask of Madness pop. Just died to Echo and Fissure.
Just melted. What are your thoughts on that build, just going like straight into Mask of Madness?
Well, if you get caught as an Enchantress against all this magic damage, you're gonna die anyways. I think it's...
is it better than going to, like, say, an Ags or something, though, you think?
Well, it's a much cheaper build,
yeah.
And they're aiming to end the game a little bit sooner rather than later. Like, if you're in their shoes right now, you probably want to end the game by, like, 48, 50, around that mark. I don't think they can end it anytime before then unless Fire drastically messes up or C9 plays amazingly well. And I don't know. I think they need every advantage they can get at this point.
The items continue to come in for Fire at a decent clip. The gem you mentioned, now it looks like Mike building towards that Yule Scepter, maybe a Hex, and they pick up the BKB on their Queen of Pain as well. So they are continuing to farm. Uh-oh, Fluff. That's gonna hurt.
Mask of Madness is better for sustained farming too. Like, Ags doesn't really help you farm that much.
That's true. And if they ever are running away from you, then you're like a machine gun Enchantress with the impetus attacks. So Eternal Envy will go back for a Maelstrom. Wants to accelerate his farm here. Sees the game isn't ending anytime particularly soon.
So he's deviating from his minus armor build, seeing the AC pick up on Tiny, just not wanting to compete with it.
Yeah, and again, like you were mentioning, just knowing that the game's not ending anytime real soon.
It's very rare to see people build attack speed on Weaver.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you'll see MKB because people TP away or they have evasion, but that's not really for the attack speed.
Mike is thinking about a Big Daddy jump here. There's a little backup for him, but it's actually rather far behind. He's going to walk into the woods. At the same time, bottom lane, TC also looks to spring a trap. Can they get an Eternal Envy kill with the relocate? They have some ways to break the Lincolns, but it's not that quick. And the Bat Lasso ended up coming out. They're going to send the relocate top on the Big Daddy. That's the easier kill. And he's dealt with. And this is, of course, the... Uh-oh. TC gets aggressive. Tries to trade blows with Eternal Envy, but he'll have none of that. And actually, they're looking for him. No, he'll blink away. Just in time. But, yeah, Tiny Wisp. Cloud9 not going to push. Hey, we'll just walk around the map with our Batrider, our Blink Earthshaker, relocate. Even if it's just to support, find a pickoff here or there, and continue farming in the meantime. It's really turning into a much more comfortable tempo for Fire as this game goes on.
Gold grab almost exactly at 0. And now Enchantress really starts to fall off, whereas Wisp is still pretty darn strong, and Earthshaker is way stronger than Enchantress at this point in the game and has the much higher potential for high game impact.
Mike again making the sojourn into the Radiant Woods. He'll try and steal some neutrals. Unfortunately, he gets a couple of Mod Golems and also blocks another camp. And then Eternal Envy will spit on him by stealing that rune. That's pretty much where it ends. They just back off to their woods. And it looks like we won't have too much activity until this next Roshan spawn, which is coming fairly soon.
Darkseer finally has his Blink Dagger, and we have not seen any sort of vacuum wall initiation.
We saw one wall top earlier that helped them get a kill on the Quap, and I think we saw one other wall that didn't really do much. The whole idea of their lineup, we haven't seen that part of it, like the team fight element, where you get the vacuum into a Sleight of Fist crit cleave with Overgrowth. Just very difficult to find those opportunities when Fire are always spread out off the map, farming the jungle.
But all it takes is one.
That's true. Same for Fire with the Echo Slam and Tiny getting a couple of big cleaves. Both teams with that wonder shot potential to change everything in just a moment. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is currently a 1-0 advantage for Cloud9 as they get the winner's bracket edge, having won their previous match against Fire 2-0 to get here. So, best of 5 series. Right now, looking to make something happen. Eternal Envy and Misery will get fissured. Chase goes on Ike's Mike, but not an easy kill, even with the Maelstrom proc. Well, TC perches top, and maybe looks for an Ember Spirit pickoff. But the BKBs are coming. Double BKB now out for Fire. Head for the hills. The BKBs are coming.
What is Quap going for? So 1 BKB, Batrider building a Yules, Earthshaker building a Force, Tiny with BKB. So Roshan is up. Let's see if they attempt it.
They're going to pass by Rosh. They move into the Radiant Woods. Fog swinging south with Mike there. I'm not seeing too much. They spot out the Weaver, but he's just been consistently difficult to gank. Maybe it changes now. Gets off the 4-step, breaks the Lincolns, then drops the Avalanche toss combo. A cleanly executed takedown on Eternal Envy.
That's Roche.
And it is Roche. It's just respawn. No Tail's the first one to see it as he trots a Hellbear into the pit. And Fire will spot it out as well.
They're not doing Roche?
They just relocated back, but it looks like... Wow, they're not going to go for it. TC's coming. Eternal Envy does not have a button.
Oh, he whiffed the Overgrowth. That would have been a big kill on TC.
And best of both worlds for Fire. They get the clean kill on the Weaver. There's no trade. They're going to take Roche and TC lives. This will be gold in their pockets and Aegis. Ush will probably be the one to take it here. And yeah, he snags it. Now they got to kill this Tiny twice. A little bit of extra insurance. Fog caught out by a Sleight of Fist. But the chains were not there. And now that the Aegis is out, that's a pretty dangerous and aggressive dive. So it looks like TC builds towards a Hex now. He picks up an Ultimate Orb. He's already got the BKB Orchid. He'll get more lockdown to deal with this Weaver, and when that comes out, the Ember's also going to have to be very careful about how he moves around the map. Has a BKB, but we saw that this team can burst you down and chain stun you before you ever get to pop the BKB. Even if Weaver had one, he definitely would have died.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Here we go. Fire cleaning up the tier 1 mid, and
Radiant's middle tower
it just continues to be a rather patient game for them, which is exactly what this lineup wants. Spread the map, push out the lanes, then find Batrider ganks over the tree lines on the back of that. Continue farming your Tiny. Get the Quap into that secondary core role with the items to complement it, and force Cloud9 to make the first move, which it doesn't seem like they feel they really can. Trying to push bottom, but they do it without Bone 7. And it's just getting to that point in the game where it feels like they're going to need all 5 to take a convincing team fight.
Tiny's getting to that point. Smacking trees right through that living armor.
Tony time. your frosted flakes ready, fellas. This guy's turning into a tiger.
Weaver and Ember are just so squishy, though. They can die in a combo from Tiny.
Growth. Fog gets trapped out a bit. He does get off an Echo Slam, though. It's not a great one. Ends up dying, but the Quap Bolt's there. Turns it around, looking for Big Daddy, not TC. Trying to right-click him down. Tiny arrives as well. Ember finished off by Ush. Gets the crit. That's a 2-for-1 exchange. And they, just before this, ended up taking down the creeps quite a bit in the top lane, pushing to the tier 2 tower. They may even look to go in on Bone 7. He does have that Blink Dagger, though, so not an easy kill. Another victory for Fire as they begin to ramp up.
I mean, Ember got lasso during PKB and still dies. That's how hard Tiny hits right now.
And he's not even finished. He's got Daedalus Gold. He's got an Aegis slot.
I think Ush could man-fight both of those heroes at the same time, Weaver and Ember.
Yeah, they definitely need to kill him by kiting him. Head-on collisions are not the strength of Weaver and Ember. But there's the Darkseer wall.
Which we pretty much
which we
have
haven't
not
seen
seen
at all.
used effectively.
It's just kind of the way the play has gone, right? Like, they're never really grouped up, and when they are, it's Bone 7's the one off on tower defense duty.
Well, he died too often early, and then because of that, his farm is slowed down a lot. If you were able to get the mech, you know, a couple minutes faster, Blink 5 minutes faster, he could have like a Shiva's or something right now.
Not even close, though. And now Ush picks up his Daedalus. This Quap about to complete TC, a Scythe of Vice to go along with it. I don't know if Fire actually want to go high ground yet, unless they get a nice pick off here. They do have the Bat Rider with the gem. But they are being very careful in how they approach the base. And they decide now is not the right time. Aegis is going to be up for a little while yet. Or no, sorry, actually it's about to wear off. One minute to go, so. Not really long enough to go back mid and try and push. It seems they'll wait at least one more round before they try and win this game.
Fire is farming the opponent's jungle. It's bad for C9. C9 is getting some farm on EE, but no one else on the map is really able to farm safely. Everyone's just deathly afraid of that Blink lasso into relocate gank that they've been using so effectively throughout.
Oh, they wanted to jump on Eternal Envy here. IX Mike, he got off the Force Staff to break the Linked Sphere. Couldn't lasso in time, but they settle for a tree kill, and now mass TPs to the bottom lane. They want to catch this Tiny Wisp on the way back. Fog's in position, though, to cover their retreat if they want, or maybe it's an attack. They chunk Fada up into the air, and now bringing it back down. The crits! The cleave! It's too much from Ush! Give him a triple! Oh, baby, he wants to make it an ultra, pushing forward. He could toss Fog, perhaps. Can he get in range? No. Can't get the ultra. But he ends the Ember. EE now on the backside. And not really liking what he sees, will back off.
And they only get the Wisp. And Ush didn't even have to use BKB.
And the Quap wasn't even there. The Bat wasn't even there. That is a 3v5 fight. Well, 3v4, I guess. That comes out well. And now they will go for the base. Cloud9. They had the 1-0 advantage, but it looks like it might end up being a best of 5 that turns into a best of 3 as Eternal Envy gets lassoed, trapped, Hex, lassoed, and just destroyed from there. Can they turn it now? They get the Overgrowth, vacuum follow-up. Fortunately, Ush is BKB, so he just goes right through it, cleans them up with a crit. Again with the big cleave, now turning and delivering another smackdown. This Tiny doing way too much work. Godlike triple kill. Eternal Envy also trapped. Will he end up surviving? Enchant Totem and finished off with a scream. And while that's happening, it's the Rock Man in your house beating down the front door. GG, Cloud9. Ush just a bit too much to handle here. He goes 15-3-2. He wallops them, and Fire showed that they are a legitimate threat here to Cloud9.
They played so damn well in the first 15 minutes of the game. They definitely deserve that after reacting to how Cloud9 played in the early game. They expected some sort of pressure from the Enchantress as well as the Darkseer, but not that much pressure. And they just responded amazingly well, delaying all their farm, playing as little greed as possible. And IX Mike setting up a lot of ganks,
I
too.
feel like if someone were to make a highlight reel of the first, 10 minutes, there would have been, 15-plus saves between the Earthshaker, the Wisp. Completely turned the game. Took IX Mike a bit to get his Blink Dagger. He had to go back to base a lot. TC didn't really dominate his lane perhaps as hard as they would have liked, but they just made really good team decisions after the laning stage.
I'm surprised that C9 didn't actually pick up the Wisp first just because they have No-Tail, who's an excellent Wisp player. Wisp was actually delayed to the second phase, and most teams ban out Wisp in the first phase versus Cloud9.
Maybe just not in their bag of tricks. It certainly isn't Big Daddy's. We'll have to see if Cloud9 look to change that up. But guys, for now, this concludes Game 1. It's now it's technically Game 2, I guess. 1-1 series tied up. It's a best of 5. We come back soon with Game number 3. I'm LD. He's Merlini. Stick around. We'll be right back.